Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This is your tarot and oracle reading for the week of January. I was going to say November for a second. January 1st to the 7th, 2024. This is the very first week of the year. I'm so excited. So this first card is from the Giant Rider-Waite-Smith deck, and this is going to represent your overall energy this week. Oh my God, you have the Five of Swords. Wow. Sagittarius, I feel like you are really in this empowered state where you're no longer putting up with crap. Oh my gosh. Some of you are this is a very specific message coming through. Some of you are choosing not to share certain pieces of information with people who you know are going to argue with you. For example, if you are having a baby and you have a very special name picked out, I feel like you're almost not telling anyone what this name is because you know, like, your sisters, your brothers, your mother, your father are going to criticize it or, make fun of it or something, and you just don't want that negativity. For others of you, it could be something along those lines too. It doesn't have to be like baby names. It could be like maybe you're making travel plans right now, and you know that there are people in your life who are going to say, oh my gosh, there's all these murderers out there and blah, blah, blah. And you may be keeping it to yourself until like the week before you're going. I do that all the time. People call me up like, oh, you want to hang out? Like, oh, sorry, I'm in Mexico. Like, I'm not in the country right now. So I do see a little bit of that taking place for you guys. In a more extreme set of circumstance, for some of you, you could literally be cutting people off or walking away from them entirely. But I don't feel like that for the majority of you, okay? This is just like having healthy boundaries and not wanting to have any arguments. I feel like you're getting very aware of the types of people who like start arguments, and you're learning how to avoid that. We have Trinity coming through, and the number 3 and 5 are coming out in your reading. Both of these days are happening this week, so pay attention to what happens to you on the 3rd and the 5th of this week. So the 3rd is what? First is on Monday. 1, 2, 3. On Wednesday and Friday of this week, pay attention to what happens because they may be very significant days for you where events unfold and there may be some significance there. This is balancing decisions, priorities, and adapting to change. Yeah, so what is your highest priority in life? What are your highest priorities? You're putting those first, okay? I feel like a lot of you are walking away from people pleasing. You're no longer putting everyone else ahead of yourself here, everyone else's opinions ahead of yourself. I feel like you're really good at just, listening to your own decisions and following that, which is great. We have listen to your intuition. Exactly. Yeah, you don't need certain people's influences or opinions. And I feel like that's why you're keeping certain things to yourself, because you don't want anyone to talk you out of it, or give you criticism. I hate that. Oh my gosh. I had a friend in the past, still in the present, we're still friends, but this person, they have a little bit of an ego, I want to say, and every time I would have some sort of new business idea, like, I would tell them about it and they would give me advice. And I know, like, that's just normal. Like, okay, so they give you advice, so what? But this person, like, had zero experience in anything. And I don't know why that just gets under my skin when people tell me how to run my business or how I should be, like, promoting things online. And then you look and they have, like, 0 Instagram followers and their profile picture is, like, a pixelated meme. It's like, don't tell me how to do what I want to do when you don't even know what you're talking about. I can't stand that. Oh my God. And it's not even like bad criticism. Well, actually, one time, never mind. I'm gonna go off into like 10 different stories about this. But yeah, I feel like you're like trusting yourself, your own advice, your own ideas, and not really wanting input or opinions from other people, which is funny. All right, we're gonna get 6 tarot cards, 2 rows of 3 from the Cozy Witch Tarot. First card out is the Ace of Swords. What a beautiful first card of the year, guys. Oh my gosh, this says, look at you. You're bursting with sparkly new ideas. Exactly. I really feel like there is a new start for all of you. And I just can't get this, I can't shake this feeling that some of you are literally having a baby, or like getting married, or planning some sort of big trip, starting some new business or idea of yours. And again, I feel like this is something that you're keeping to yourself right now and only letting the people who need to know. The people directly involved, they know. And I'm sure like some of you may have like one very trusted best friend who you share everything with, and that's fine as well, or like your partner. But anyone else, like, you're not really telling them this, is what I'm seeing. So I don't know what this is, but it feels like a brand new idea, brand new direction in life. And, you know, you're kind of keeping it to yourself right now, keeping it sacred. So that way other people don't, you know, ruin it, you know. I totally think people should do that. When I started my business, like the first time, I told everyone what I was doing, and literally almost everyone in my life criticized it. My siblings told me that I was scamming people. They don't believe in like this stuff, I guess. Well, they didn't believe in this stuff until I did some readings for them, and now they ask me for readings all the time. I actually know a lot of people like that. And oh my gosh, like my mother, like my friends, they would say things like, get a real job, like go to school for a real thing. You know, it was like totally just crapping on my dreams. So I totally get why you wouldn't tell people about it. Because like, first off, having people, especially the people closest to you, directly involved in a newly developing idea, it hinders your creativity. I saw an Instagram reel the other day that I think resonates with you strongly. This girl was saying the number one thing that I did to grow my Instagram account was to block everyone I know. And I get exactly where she was coming from. For some reason, when you know that people that you know personally are watching you, or like watching your content, or like seeing your posts, reading your poetry, reading your blog, it's almost like you filter yourself. But if you have thousands of strangers watching it, you are free. It feels like you're talking to yourself, you know what I mean? So, and I get that completely. I didn't tell anyone that I had this YouTube channel except for like my partner. That's literally like the only person I told, and like maybe like a friend or two. And unfortunately, my whole family found out about it. And I remember when like I was having like aunts and stuff, and like my sister follow me on YouTube, I felt really uncomfortable, and I literally asked them like, can you not like subscribe to me, like low key, like I don't want you there. I don't want you to watch this, because I don't know. I just feel like it hinders you. And there is freedom in just having no one that you know viewing you in life. It's kind of like dance like nobody's watching, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's something in your life that is very pure, it's growing, it's new. And yeah, so I don't know, I just think you're keeping it to yourself, which is a very smart idea. We have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Some people may view you as cold for doing this, but gotta do what you gotta do. It says, don't you dare lower your voice for anyone. Wow, I love that. Don't you dare lower your voice for anyone. The Queen of Swords runs things. And we see here that she has her own little book club. This was a passion of hers, reading, and she turned it into a book club. And I don't know if those are cookies. Yeah, I guess they're cookies. I was gonna say it looks like money. But she's out here making money, making business. You know, she has her little book blog, her book club, her community, a beautiful life built around her passion. And I feel like that is what's developing for you, Sagittarius. In reverse, I feel like, you know, it was what I was saying earlier. Sometimes when there are people criticizing you, especially people closest to you, it can cause you to want to filter yourself. So like, again, if anyone here watching is about to do something and you're thinking like, should I tell my family about it? Should I tell people? I would personally wait. Listen to your intuition. If your intuition is saying like, I don't know if I'm gonna let people know this yet, then don't let people know. Card 3 is Strength in reverse, which is funny because this is usually a card that talks about like not being open to people, and it's usually a bad thing, but in your reading, I'm actually thinking maybe this is a good thing. It takes great strength to be soft. Yeah, this new thing that you are indulging on, this new start of yours, this new idea, it is very like vulnerable and authentic to who you are as a personal being. You know, I'm gonna use myself as an example because there's so many different examples coming from you people. Like, you have so many situations. But at the time I started my business, you know, doing psychic readings, being a witch, being spiritual was not accepted. Okay, it's a lot more mainstream now, I think, but at the time it was not accepted. And because of that, there was certainly many times where my intuition would tell me, lie. Like, literally lie. Like, I remember this one time I was in a very scary Uber ride. Oh my God. I take Uber all the time, and this was like the only scenario where I was like frightened for my life. I could go off on a whole story. It was in a weird like minivan that didn't match the car that was on the app, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was literally going one town over. It wasn't even a long ride. There was like one seat in the back, and it was like down. There was no seatbelt. It was really, really creepy. And this guy starts rapid fire asking me all of these questions about my life. Like, oh, where did you go to school? What do you do for a living? Blah, 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 blah. And when he asked me what I do for a living, I had this like strong gut feeling like lie to this man right now. Okay. So I told him I was a life coach, which I am now, ironically. At the time, it was just an idea in my mind. So I told him I'm a life coach. But at the time I was only doing psychic readings. And the reason why I think my intuition was telling me to lie was because this was like an old military man in a really creepy environment. He was giving me like red flags, and he seems like the type of person who would have easily got angered at the fact that I'm a psychic. Like, there have been people like that. So yeah, I just listen to your intuition when it tells you, you know, don't share certain pieces of information about yourself to other people. I don't know why I'm telling you that, Sagittarius, but I am seeing that in your reading right now. Like, protect yourself. If your intuition is saying keep this to yourself, even if it's to like certain family members, keep it to yourself. You know, why not? Now, here's the thing. If you have a best friend or a romantic partner and you feel like you need to keep things from them, then I would question them. Like, why do you feel like you need to hide things from them? However, this message can 100% relate to family, like blood family. I get it. All right, anyways. Moving on. Second row of cards out, fourth card is the 5 of Wands. And look at this. It's a group of people all having very strong opinions, kind of arguing. A good coven lets every witch have a say. Yeah. Are you being valued for your voice? Are you being respected for your opinions? We have the Knight of Wands coming through. So much passion. So much passion. And for some of you, this Queen of Swords in reverse, this could be someone in your life that you feel guided not to share things with. This could be a mother figure. This could be an older feminine figure, air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Doesn't have to be though. And this could be because of how harsh their opinions are, how harshly they speak, how harshly they criticize. Anyways, Knight of Wands, sometimes you have to be willing to bend the rules a little bit. And it's funny because we see this witch sneaking out of a window. Interesting. For some of you, I am really getting this as a mother figure. That is this person who you have to not be 100% honest with. I mean, I hate when that happens. That's very toxic, but it does happen. You know, if you have a mother or father or, you know, older family member in your life that you just can't be yourself around because they don't allow it or they criticize it so harshly, sometimes you do have to bend the rules a little bit. You know, when I was younger, I'm sorry, I'm going off on so many personal stories this week, but, you know, this is how spirit communicates and relates messages. When I was younger, like a teenager, I remember my mom had like crazy strict curfew for me. Like, I had to be home by like 9 o'clock at night as like a 16, 17-year-old. Which just didn't fly for me because I had a very strong social life. And so like I had to constantly like, you know, lie to my mother because she would only let me out past that time if I was at one friend's house who lived literally around the corner from us, and I was like inside, and like I would constantly tell her like, oh, we're in the middle of watching the Titanic. We always would say we were watching the Titanic because that's like the longest movie ever or whatever. And meanwhile, I'd be out actually hanging out with my friends, doing fun things, driving around, you know, but like she wouldn't let me. I had to lie to her because she wouldn't let me be who I wanted to be. All right. And it's like when you create an environment where you're constantly criticizing people and restricting their freedom and not respecting them as an autonomous human being who can make safe decisions for themselves, that causes the other person to feel like they cannot be open with you and feel like they cannot share things openly with you. So Sagittarius, I feel like there is someone in your life who you strongly are having an intuitive nudge not to tell something really positive that's going on in your life. You don't want to tell them. Some of you may be married. Some of you may be getting married. Some of you may be having a kid. Some of you may have like a name in mind for that baby. Some of you may be starting your own business, like going back to school, quitting school, moving. There's so many different ways this can manifest, traveling. And you feel guided not to tell someone. And you may be feeling guilty about that because you're like, I want to have open, honest, authentic relationship with this person. But sometimes you need to bend the rules. I don't know. Now, this is completely different from, say, a situation where you're literally just cheating on your spouse. Like, oh, like they're unreasonable because they want me to, you know, be faithful to that. Like, no, you're unreasonable. Just break up at that point. You know what I mean? These cards are not saying like be a bad person and lie. It's saying if someone is being unreasonably judgmental and harsh and critical towards you, and you have something positive, not something negative like cheating, you know, and you intuitively feel guided not to tell them, then don't tell them. All right, final card out is the Four of Cups. And it's interesting because we have a younger person and an older person here. It says, try not to be so picky, okay? And there are, this is a common scenario. So there's a cashier trying to like, you know, give them the perfect order and the customer is being very, very judgmental. You know what, Sagittarius, I'm going to be honest with you. I think you are having issues with different generations. If you're like a younger person, you may be having a hard time this week with older generations. In your family, in your work, whatever. And if you're an older generation, you may be having problems with a younger generation. And if that's the case, you may be a little bit too critical of the differences in your generations, the differences in like who you are. And you have to understand that every generation has, you know, the wisdom, the experiences, the ideas that it needs in order to, you know, healthily carry society along. Now, every generation has its problems. Every generation has its pros, you know. It's good aspects, and we just have to respect each other. Okay, so I am seeing that a little bit of a dissatisfying relationship, and it really does feel like it's with a family member or someone like that. Okay, displeased with your children, displeased with your parents. That's really the main thing I'm seeing here. This could even be like if you serve a certain demographic of people, like at your job, you may be really displeased with how that demographic of people treats you. Okay, I am seeing that as well. For some of you, just feel where it resonates in your life. You know, I feel like there is more vulnerability needed between the two of you. Strength reversed, though. The thing is, if the other person refuses to, if you or the other person, okay, you or the other person refuses to, you know, humble themselves and see how they're contributing to the problem, then there's really nothing you can do in that situation. So I don't know. Thank you guys for joining me this week. I'm very excited for you, whatever this happy, amazing thing is that's going on in your life. It really does feel super, super positive, like brimming with light. If any of you watching are pregnant, congratulations. If any of you are having a kid, congratulations. Or married, congratulations. I am seeing a lot of that, like happy new ideas, happy developments. And I do see you waiting to share them, but Thank you guys so much. Like this video, comment how it resonated down below, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already. If you want a personal reading with me one-on-one, the link to that is always in the description box, spiritpsychic.org. I also offer my Goddess Energy Intention Oil there and my spiritual life coaching sessions there. In particular, go ahead and check out the 2024 Tarot and Mediumship reading. It is an hour-long video reading that will cover 2023, 2024, everything you can expect, and your personal questions, comments, concerns, etc. And we'll open the floor up to any spirits that want to come through and give you any messages. So go ahead and check that out now. Get it now before you forget, because it's going to be gone in a few weeks and you'll never be able to get it again. Okay, thank you guys. Bye-bye.